Have you ever experienced a time in your life when you were desperate and cried out to God for help with something, for you or for your loved ones? I remember a time, sometime in November 2018, when at the height of the economic crisis, the bank that was supposed to release the last tranche of my loan to finish the house I was building would not release it unless I agreed to them doubling the rate of interest. And I struggled with this every day. I woke up early in the morning. I prayed hard to God. I listened to worship songs. And I cried out, Lord, you did not surely bring me this far only to abandon me. And the story of Hagar is also one of desperation and God's help. We see in Genesis chapter 16 what happened. So Abraham and Sarah were barren. They could not have children. And so at the age of 86, one of their slave girls from Egypt was given by Sarah herself for her husband so that they could have a child to help God and with their problem of not having an heir. And so Hagar gave birth to Ishmael, but after 10 years, the boy grew up and Hagar became proud. And so Sarah resented Hagar and she made life difficult for her husband. She blamed Abraham, of course, her husband. And Abraham said, do what you will. And so she mistreated Hagar, and Hagar ran away to the desert. In the desert, the angel of the Lord led her to a spring, which she found in the midst of her suffering. And the angel of the Lord comforted her and said to her that God heard your affliction, and you should not worry. He will bless you with a son, and he will be a mighty nation. But you have to go back to your mistress. You know what? Sometimes it's hard to trust in God's blessings because sometimes the blessings can only come after obedience. And the greatest test of obedience is usually the test of humility, when we are going to humble ourselves and go back and talk to somebody we don't really want to talk to, because we know that it's God who will bless us and He knows something we don't. And it's just like me telling my son Caleb that if he finishes his rice, then he can have ice cream after. Of course, if he doesn't finish his rice, he's not going to get any ice cream. The same way, God also blesses us if we obey. We cannot simply claim that we believe and we claim His promises, but we will also not do our part. And so God's angel, the angel of the Lord, in the midst of her suffering, helped Hagar in all her troubles, in all her crying, and she did go back to Sarah in obedience to God. You see, we are blessed not because we are good. You see, Hagar was proud. You see, Sarah made the wrong choice. And Abraham was basically indifferent in all of this. And yet, God still blessed Hagar. God blessed Ishmael. God blessed Sarah with a son. He gave Abraham and Sarah Isaac. Not because they were good, but because God Himself is good. God is the God who sees us. And so Hagar named the well, the God who sees me. Does God see us in all the suffering, in all the heartache, in all the questioning that we are experiencing, the difficulties during this pandemic? I think God is asking us two things as we almost face the tail end, hopefully, of this plague that is COVID-19. One is, am I still God to you, despite of all that has happened? Am I still worthy of your trust, your faith, and worship? The second question is, am I still good? Do we believe that despite all that we experience, God still has our best interest in mind? Remember Hagar, who in the midst of the desert found a spring, who in the midst of her loneliness, God gave her a promise of a son who would become a great nation himself. Let us not forget the God who sees us.